Welcome. I'm Dr. Kate Brennan, creator of the Ultimate Mom's Guide. I'm glad you're here with me today. I can't wait to share with you the key to get you moving out of overwhelm and into more balance, resiliency, and joy. It's what I do, it's what I love, and I can't wait to get started with you today. What I'm going to share with you in this webinar will undoubtedly move the needle for you if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed. Today is going to be chock full of information, and you'll want to stay until the end, where I'll be giving away some specials as well as a few other goodies that I'll tell you about later. So let's get started. For those of you who don't know me, I've been a family therapist for the past 20 years. I received a master's and doctorate in psychology, specializing in treating stress and overwhelm within the family. I'm a mom of 2 wonderful kids who've been my teachers over the years, as well as my guinea pigs. So why the focus on the overwhelmed mom? I'm a mom, and if you're anything like me, having kids is amazing. It has truly shifted my world for the better. But what I didn't really get until I had kids is how demanding it can be. It's an exercise in stamina. Depending on the situation, it can be psychological or physical stamina, or at times both. We've all had marathon nights of little or no sleep, trying to soothe an inconsolable or sick infant, toddler, school-age child, or teen. We've all pushed through one more bedtime routine when every bone in our body aches for rest, then stayed up way too late trying to catch up. We show up every day to perform the role of doctor, cook, psychologist, teacher, driver, personal assistant, etc. You get the drift. And that all happens before we show up as a friend, partner, or professional. It's a recipe for exhaustion, and that's where I come in. Moms in particular are often in a constant state of stress. And by the way, I just want to say here that I'm not excluding dads or other partners. Becoming a parent adds a layer of stress for everyone. But let me just say that the main stress falls on the primary caregiver, which is often the mom. But of course, that's not always the situation. So let's break down a typical day for a parent with school-age children. From the minute they get up, they're off and running. There is the morning routine of breakfast, lunches, permission slips, school projects, homework, and the missing shoe to locate. Then it's out the door to try to get to school on time. And that's all before 8 a.m. Then for some parents, it's off to a job, or if staying home, there's the dishes and the cleanup from the morning rush. In the afternoon, the second shift begins with homework, lessons, sports, dinner, bedtime, which for many of us is like herding cats. Rinse and repeat. Parents with infants and toddlers have a similar experience of juggling many things, but in addition are on call at moment's notice and are rarely able to finish or complete a task without being interrupted. That one was personally really hard for me. Now, I'm not saying there are not sweet and tender moments during all of this. There are, lots of them, and incredible ones. But the level of stamina and consistency involved is tremendous. It requires a lot from parents. This load is over time not sustainable. I see mothers in my practice who are suffering from burnout, exhaustion, and frustration. But this is supposed to be such a special time. The good news is it doesn't have to be like this. Today I'm going to share with you one key strategy I use to get moms out of overwhelm. And here it is. In graduate school, I studied in the field of body-mind psychology to examine the delicate and profound relationship between our mind and our bodies. I began to study and focus in particular on how stress impacts our physiology and hormones, including how nutrition is a key to mood stability and how our thoughts and experiences shape our stress hormones. In addition, the capstone to all of this was becoming trained to work directly with the stress that accumulates in the body, which over time can lead to overwhelm, burnout, and sickness. In my family practice, I began treating moms who felt overwhelmed and stressed. It wasn't so much that they didn't have great instincts and skills. They were just exhausted or too overwhelmed to either implement their skills or enjoy the process. Here's the deal. Parenting is an exercise in stamina, and if the system falters, the impact can be like dominoes. I'm here to say that parenting is still an exercise in stamina, but it makes a world of difference when you feel resilient and full of capacity. Even the best parenting advice in the world won't make an impact if you don't have the capacity or energy to execute it. What I want to give to you today is one strategy that I use to get moms out of overwhelm and into more balance. I want to give you information that you can use and incorporate right now. I'm going to give you one of the keys in my program. As I mentioned, I developed a program called the Ultimate Mom's Guide to Less Stress. This program is basically divided into two parts. The first part helps you to better manage the stressors in your life. The second part focuses on working with the stress itself to lessen its impact. Today I'm going to share with you a bit of the second part, how to directly lessen the impact of stress. What I'm about to show you will give you profound insight into the mechanics of stress and how shifting out of stress is easier than you think. There is some truth to the saying, it's all in your head. I'm going to dive right in and tell you what I mean by that. There's going to be a little bit of science thrown in, so pay attention and take notes if you want to. The main key to understanding your overwhelm is to understand your nervous system and brain. Let me tell you what I mean. You may have heard talk lately about the importance of being able to regulate your emotions as a parent. If not, let me quickly explain what emotional regulation means. When we feel in balance, we're able to be present, connected, emotionally calm and centered. In other words, regulated. When we're regulated, people pick up on that. Ever notice what it feels like to be around someone who feels calm as opposed to someone who's harried and stressed? There's a difference, right? Well, when we're regulated, others feel it. For example, our children. They pick up on it. They experience our regulation and they incorporate it into themselves too. Feeling regulated is a way of being with yourself and with others, where you experience being in a state of relative calm or relaxed excitement. I guess another word for this would be you feel chill. Think of the times you had some extra capacity when your child is struggling. Although it's still hard, I bet it's a lot easier and may even resolve quicker than when you're short on reserves. In fact, being dysregulated around our kids is like fuel for their upset. So the key here is that if we're calm, regulated, things tend to go much smoother. So let me dive in and show you how your nervous system functions. This is a picture of basic regulation. It goes up and down, but not out of bounds. Here, let me explain. Our nervous systems can be divided into two basic branches. The sympathetic branch, which is involved in arousal or getting excited, and the parasympathetic branch, which is responsible for relaxation, calming down. So here's an example of how our nervous system functions when it's within the normal range. When we get activated or aroused, we engage our sympathetic branch of our nervous system. You can tell when it's engaged. You have more energy, your heart begins to beat more rapidly, etc. When the event is over, the other branch, known as the parasympathetic, comes back online and helps you to feel more settled. Although you were activated, you stayed within the normal range and recovered easily and quickly. This activation can happen in all kinds of ways, and not all bad. Exercise, a friendly surprise. Activation just simply means engaging the sympathetic branch of the nervous system. This is what nervous systems are meant to do, go up and go down. At times, however, when there is more stress than our nervous system can handle or stress that goes unchecked, our nervous systems get stuck on. Stress takes its toll, and given the right set of circumstances, our nervous system can get stuck on and lose its ability to come down easily. Notice how there are boundaries for getting activated and coming down. We all get a charge over something from time to time. It's when the charge spills over the edges that we can find ourselves with a charge that feels too intense or stuck on. Symptoms of too much arousal or arousal that is stuck can be experienced as agitation, anxiety, hyperactivity, hyper-vigilance, jumpy, restlessness, inability to relax, digestive problems, feeling flooded emotionally, chronic pain, sleeplessness, and hostility and rage. It's important to note that the opposite can happen, and does, if the parasympathetic gets stuck on off. Depression, lethargy, low motivation, exhaustion, chronic fatigue, dissociation, low blood pressure, poor digestion, to name just some of the symptoms. And worse yet, the nervous system can get stuck both on and off, where someone can feel both edgy and exhausted. So, how do you know when you're feeling balanced? I call this being in your functional range or range of resilience. These are the times you notice that you're relaxed yet alert. You're feeling really present in the moment with what you're experiencing. If you do get a charge over something, your system doesn't get overloaded or shut down. Instead, it bounces back. You feel curious about what's going on, and you're available for connection with others. So, how can you identify if you're moving out of your functional range? If the sympathetic system is overactivated, you might experience strong emotions such as anxiety, a sense of urgency, anger, even terror. You may notice bodily sensations such as bracing, tensing. You may be noticing that you're holding your breath. You may even have an impulse to turn away and curl up. You may notice inner trembling or the desire to stretch. You may lose your ability to think, to hear, to speak, feeling frozen. You may feel like running away and wanting to isolate. And if the parasympathetic is overactive, you may feel spacey, sleepy, or depressed. So I promised to teach you the key to getting out of overwhelm. Well, here it is. As you recall, when you become overwhelmed, we have within us a lot of activation and charge. There was a tremendous amount of energy that was mobilized when we became overwhelmed. Think of this energy that is mobilized to help us get away or fight back. And when the event is over, we normally and need to recover. Well, how do we do that? Instinctively, we release all the unused energy that was mobilized. For example, ever notice how you take a deep breath and have a big sigh of relief after a tense moment is over? That's the body releasing the unused, leftover energy that's no longer needed so you can return to your baseline. So here's the deal. When we're stuck and out of our functional range, we're having trouble releasing the energy that we mobilized. We don't need it now, but it's still there. We are stuck in our own loop of stress. Learning how to gently release and discharge all the leftover energy is the key to moving back into our normal range of resiliency. When we are in this range, we feel joyful, resilient, more expansive, and full of capacity. Now, I can't teach you everything here, but I can give you some really important and useful tools that you can start using right away. And I'll also tell you in a bit how you can go further with this material if you want to at the end of this presentation. Remember how I told you that what goes up must come down? After the sympathetic activation, there is often some energy that was mobilized but not used. There needs to be a discharge of all that unused energy. This discharge brings things back down to normal. If the discharge doesn't happen, we run the risk of getting stuck on or off. So is it starting to make some sense? This is hardwired into the nervous systems of all mammals. It's when it's stopped that there's a potential problem. Let's look at how mammals respond to threat. And yes, that includes us. When an animal hears a snap in the bushes, it doesn't know if it's a small bird or a predator about to pounce. The animal goes through these stages. 1. It stops what it's doing, and we call this arrest and startle. 2. It orients to the sound and it scans. 3. It evaluates what to do in about a millisecond. 4. Then it acts by either calling for help, fleeing, fighting, or freezing. And 5. When the event is over, the most important stage follows, discharging all of the unused energy. So why would this be the most important part? Well, as I said, if the energy is not used up or discharged, it stays in the body, and the risk of being stuck on in activation occurs. So I hope this is all starting to come together for you now. We go through the same stages. Think for a moment about a time when you heard a crash or a loud noise. First, you probably stopped what you were doing. Then you turned toward where the sound was coming from. Then quickly made an evaluation and acted. When the event was over, try and recall what came next. Relief, a big sigh, tears, trembling. So let's talk a bit more about what happens after the overwhelming event. When the event is over, you may notice that you take a big breath, sigh. You may feel relieved. Maybe you're a bit shaky, trembling. You may even want to cry, or you may notice heat. Pay attention. Don't stop the process. Pause and let it ride out. This is just the unused energy leaving. It's a good thing. Sometimes we tend to override or stop the process. That is where we can get tripped up and keep our system locked on. It's normal to have these sensations, and it's critical to let this process follow its natural course. We see it in our kids all the time. Ever notice how after they take a tumble, they cry? They may tremble a bit. They also often seem to generate a lot of heat when they cry. This is nature's way of moving them out of overwhelm and into balance once more. The best approach we can offer our children during this time is to move in close and offer calm support. We don't need to do anything more than that. Our presence reassures them that someone is with them while they move through their big feelings. So let's review this. Threat, then activation, then energy increase, then mobilize into fight, flight, or freeze, then discharge, followed by recovery and rest. Here's the thing. As long as these patterns of discharge remain incomplete, the sympathetic charge will remain active, keeping the person in a state of readiness as if the threat is still happening. This process keeps the stress circuit on continuous loop and over time can begin to impact mood and physiology. So now that you know how the nervous system responds to stress and what it needs to complete and restore itself, here are some things you can do to support your nervous system to keep your stress level lower. Get in the habit of referencing inside frequently. Slowing things down and taking a short pause in new settings often settles the nervous system. The nervous system likes to look around and assess things. Check it out next time you go into a public place. Instead of just rushing in, pause, take it in, take a look around, check things out, then notice how you feel. This literally slows down your physiology. Be aware of transitions, arrivals, departures. These are the types of things that can disrupt a nervous system. We've all seen it in our kids. Next time your child falls apart, notice what just occurred. Very often it is during or right after a transition. We are vulnerable during transitions too. A good way to practice this is next time you step into the grocery store, instead of grabbing the cart and heading off, just pause. Take a moment to scan when you first walk in. Take a moment to look around the store. Just see where your eyes want to go. Take a moment to notice how that makes you feel. I guarantee that if you pay attention, you will notice a softening, maybe even a breath. Our nervous systems like to know where they are and what's going on around them. Too often we rush from one place to another, and we literally are adding to our nervous system's stress. Just pause, take a moment, look around when you transition, and you probably will notice a relaxation response. Right. Ideally, we do this with our kids as well. Kindergarten orientation, perhaps. We don't just throw them in there on the first day of school. Hopefully, there has been an orientation, formal or informal, where the child gets to slow down and orient to the new room before they plunge in. Parents of sensitive children already know this. They can't go anywhere unless they build in time to orient their child and take it slow at first. This is good advice for all of us. Begin to recognize what activation feels like. Do you notice a quickening of your heart? Are your muscles tightening? Is your breathing changing? Once you notice this activation building, you can change course. Do you need support from a friend? Do you need to leave the environment? Another very important piece is to notice what settling feels like. Where in your body do you feel it? Are tears starting to form? Did you yawn? Feel a bit shaky? When you notice this, you're coming back to baseline. Now, with all these helpful practices, there are times when we still get overwhelmed and feel hijacked. What do? We notice. Are you shaky? Do you feel like crying? Do you notice heat in your muscles? No need to stop it, right? Now you know this is just discharging of excess energy. Allow the process to happen. Take the ride. It is just your nervous system letting go of unused energy. So let's recap. Moms are often in a constant state of stress, Low grade for sure, with definite spikes of high stress thrown in for good measure. Ongoing stress can lead to overwhelm and burnout and health problems. There are two parts to working with overwhelm and stress. One, prevention, and two, being able to work directly with the nervous system when under stress. We can't avoid stressful situations. That's a part of the human condition. Yet we can do these two things. We can incorporate prevention to increase our tolerance to stress, and secondly, we can learn how to overcome stressful events to keep within our range of regulation. Understanding how the nervous system gets hijacked and how to bring it back into alignment is a critical skill that will keep you in good health, both body and mind. So what I've showed you today is a little bit about how to work directly with the nervous system. I introduced you to the difference between sympathetic charge and parasympathetic discharge. I talked about what you can do to keep your nervous system steady, like orienting to your surroundings, being mindful of transitions, noticing when you're becoming activated, and noticing what settling feels like. I also showed you what you can do if you get pushed out of your range of regulation. Most importantly, I hope you now understand what shaking, tearing, taking a deep breath is, and that it's good for you. It's just the way to discharge unused energy that your nervous system doesn't want, nor should have hanging around. What I shared with you today is one part of a comprehensive system that I've developed and use with my clients to help them create more capacity, resiliency, and joy in their lives. Let me briefly share with you what that looks like. It's called the Ultimate Mom's Guide to Less Stress. There are 8 done-for-you modules, each with worksheets and action steps that you can use beginning today. The program I've created is comprehensive and teaches you how to get rid of your stress, balance your hormones, and strengthen your capacity for more joy and resiliency. I've helped thousands of women using these same strategies. Keep in mind that life is not static. Life has its twists and turns. This program will be yours forever to reference for pick-me-ups whenever you need to. So let's briefly address the course materials here. The first module is all about creating a personal plan for shifting out of stress. There are assessments that will give you clarity, direction, and focus in creating your ultimate plan for less stress and more resiliency. Module 2 addresses depletion and what specific supplements, herbs, flower essences, and essential oils you can use to rebalance yourself. Module 3 is interesting because it's where we take inventory of your schedule to find out where you can find time for yourself and how to use that time to restore and recharge your batteries. Yes, you will find time. It's there. It may take some protecting, but it's there. And it's essential to your health and well-being that you take even the smallest amount of time for yourself. And I'll show you how to find it. In Module 4, I'll show you the food-mood connection. But even more than that, you'll discover that if your digestion is not working, how it can derail your energy and your moods. I'll show you how you can improve or even repair your digestion. Module 5 will look closely at other resources that will enhance your well-being. And in Module 6 and 7, this is in some ways the centerpiece of the program. Modules 1 through 5 address working from the outside in, if you will. And in Modules 6 and 7, we begin to look inside the nervous system itself. Module 6 teaches you what's going on inside when you're stressed, and I'll personally show you what you can do to shift out of stress from the inside out. Module 7 includes strategies to combat anxiety and overwhelm and replace them with joy and capacity. And in the final module, Module 8, is where we put all together and create your personal plan for less stress and more resiliency. By this time, you'll have so many tools under your belt. It's a time for celebration for work well done. The Ultimate Mom's Guide to Less Stress is the culmination of over 20 years of research and practice in psychology, parenting, mind-body medicine, herbal and dietary nutrition, mindfulness, and neuroscience. So as a thank you for taking action, I'm actually going to offer 3 of my favorite bonuses. Is it me or my hormones? This explores the role that hormones play in our energy and moods, and how stress, diet, and exhaustion can throw our hormones out of balance. This bonus shows you what you can do to support your hormones and keep your mood and energy in balance so that you feel great. Number 2, how to support your kids to be resilient. In this bonus, you'll get strategies that optimize your children's recovery from stress. And 3, relationship first aid. As parents, we are often so exhausted that at the end of the day, there is little left over for our personal relationships. In this bonus, you'll learn about the 3 different styles partners have relating to each other and how these styles can either block or enhance connection. You'll also learn what to do to optimize or restore a loving connection. So to recap, I'm offering the entire Ultimate Mom's Guide to Less Stress program and the 3 bonuses as yours to keep forever. As moms, we are often the last on our list when it comes to spending money or making time for ourselves. That's why I've priced this program so it's affordable, and I've structured it so it's convenient for you. The Ultimate Mom's Guide is also a self-paced course that you can access anytime, anywhere. No getting a sitter or driving. You can access the course materials whenever and wherever you want. Of course, you can go figure this out all on your own, or you can have a proven system that's easy to follow and will move you more efficiently and in less time so you can get to your desired results quickly and easily. If you were to go out and piece this together on your own, it could be done with visits to nutritionists, parenting experts, herbalists, meditation teachers, stress experts, coaches, and or psychotherapists. And that would cost thousands of dollars. Or you can try out this program. I've put together strategies that I've been using with my clients for over 20 years. I've streamlined this process, which saves my clients both time and money. However, clients who work with me privately pay upwards of $1,200 for this program. I know not everyone can afford that, so I wanted to offer something that could be affordable for just about anyone. The entire program, with all the videos, audios, assessments, worksheets, and bonuses, is just $297. But that's not it, and I promise it's not Ginsu knives. For a limited time, the first 10 people that sign up will also receive a free one-on-one consultation with me. Just go to www.drkatebrennan and select the Mom's Guide to Less Stress to get the order page. And to make it even more convenient, you can pay for the program all at once or split your payment into 3 easy payments of $99 each. In addition, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can check out the materials and see if they're a fit for you. And if for any reason you feel the program isn't right for you, you can ask for a refund. No questions asked. So I know that's a lot, but I'd like to end by saying that it's been my pleasure to deliver something of value to you today. It would be my honor to personally support you as you find your way out of overwhelm and into resiliency and joy.